The Black Crowes have just announced the details of their 10th studio album, Pound of Feathers, a very fitting title for a band called the Black Crowes. It's coming out on March the 13th. You see, I just did my my rock music preview for 2026, and then the Black Crowes go and announce this new album right after. I'm not saying that they did it on purpose, but it is a strange coincidence. But it just goes to show you how many rock releases for 2026 that we don't know yet that are coming out. So this is going to be a good one. This is the follow-up to 2024's Happiness Bastards, which was the band's big comeback album. I really enjoyed Happiness Bastards. I did a review for the record back, I guess, 2 years ago now when it came out here on the channel. So if you want to go find that, it's on the channel. You can go look for that. The band have announced this new album and included 2 new singles as well. They just released on streaming, Profane Prophecy and Pharmacy Chronicles. The album's going to include 11 brand new Black Crowes tracks in total. And there's actually quite a quick turnaround on this album as well. You know, we didn't get a new Black Crowes record for almost 15 years, which was a long time to wait for new Black Crowes music. But you know what? Now the Robinson brothers are back together. They're doing this thing. And the band recorded this album, surprisingly, in only 10 days, which is a crazy feat for any album in this day and age. And actually kind of reminds me of when the band put out their double album. I think it's called Before the Flood Until the Freeze, which came out back in 2009. That was their last studio record before Happiness Bastards. It kind of reminds me of that. They recorded that mostly live off the floor, I think in front of an audience. Not that they did the same thing on this new record, but they recorded it in 10 days, which is pretty crazy for a record these days. So you can tell that it's going to be a much raw record. It's going to be probably a lot live off the floor. From the sound of these new singles, I can see how that would be a possibility. And then the band's going to be keeping busy in 2026 as well. They're going to be going on tour in Australia and Japan. And then they're going to be doing some touring in North America, opening up for Guns N' Roses on a bunch of select dates, which I think is really cool. Not a huge fan of Guns N' Roses live. I've seen them live. Not one of my favorite shows that I've ever seen. But if you toss the Black Crowes in front of them, you know what? That might be a show that I would pay money to go and see. So that's actually not a bad little combination of the Black Crowes and Guns N' Roses. And then when it comes to Happiness Bastards, which came out in 2024, that was an album that I really loved. I really felt it had more of that classic, Southern Black Crowes sound. The previous record that came out in 2009, the After the Flood Until the Freeze, Before the Flood Until the Freeze, was a good record, but it definitely leaned more into the Black Crowes country and roots rock influences, which have always been there, minded. Like, that's not something new that they did. The Black Crowes have always been, just drenched, of course, in Southern rock, classic rock and roll, British rock and roll, country, roots rock, everything in between. They've always included that in their sound. But Happiness Bastards felt a little bit more like that electric kind of full band Black Crowes sound, and it kind of sounds like this new record, Pound of Feathers, is going to continue that trend that they did on Happiness Bastards. So very, very excited to hear this new record. And I've been a fan of the Black Crowes for a very, very long time. In my younger days, when I had my long hair, a lot of people said that I looked like Chris Robinson, which I never really understood. But hey, if you want to say I look like an awesome rock singer, I'll go for that. I used to have longer hair. My band, the Mississippi Kings, we used to be much more of a roots rock country kind of band, so it made sense that we got a lot of those Black Crowes comparisons. I've only ever seen the Black Crowes live once, and that was back on the tour of Brotherly Love that they did with Oasis back in 2001. I saw that tour front row, absolutely loved it, and it's kind of strange. We have these two brother bands, the tour of Brotherly Love, Oasis and the Black Crowes, and they kind of both split up for around the same amount of time. The Black Crowes and Oasis both broke up around 2009, 2010, waited about 15 years to get back together, and now they're back doing their thing. So everything is right with the world again. When you have Oasis back, you have Black Crowes back. Now all we need is Oasis to put out some new music. It seems like the Black Crowes were much quicker to be putting out new music than Oasis. But that was an absolutely crazy tour to go see, the tour of Brotherly Love. You had the Brothers and Space Hog opening that up. You had Oasis, and actually Black Crowes were the band that closed out that tour. They were, I guess, essentially the headliner, the last band, even though Oasis and the Black Crowes were co-headliners on that tour. So been a big Black Crowes fan for a very, very long time. I wouldn't say I know everything in their discography or every song they have, but I know all the big hits and a fair share of their huge album tracks. Now, when we take a listen to these new songs, Profane Prophecy and Pharmacy Chronicles, I thought these were okay. Maybe not the best Black Crowes songs. I think some of the songs that they released as singles from Happiness Bastards were a little bit stronger, but overall, some pretty cool songs. Profane Prophecy reminded me a lot of the Rolling Stones. It has a really fun kind of Brown Sugar-esque riff in it. Very, very Rolling Stones on this one. Some really nice, soulful vocals. And I feel like the Black Crowes have always had that Rolling Stones influence, but immediately when I first heard this song, Profane Prophecy, the riff on it immediately reminded me of the Rolling Stones and Brown Sugar. And then Pharmacy Chronicles, just like the Black Crowes do, they bring it down a notch. This one is more acoustic. You got some great vocals from Chris Robinson, who's one of my favorite vocalists in rock. Like, the dude can just belt it out and he can just sing. I love singing along with the Black Crowes. Always been a really, really cool thing. And both songs are really like quintessential Black Crowes. They both have that Black Crowes sound that you would expect. It's not their best stuff. Like, I'm not loving these first two singles. I might have to listen to them again and let them grow on me a little bit more, but I have high hopes for this new album, Pound of Feathers, which is coming out on March the 13th. I will say, though, I'll pull this up for you here. I don't love the album cover on this new album. If you take a look here, it reminds me of like a bad 80s album cover. I feel like there wasn't a lot of effort put into this album cover. I'm not usually somebody who harps on about album covers or artwork or anything like that. Like, whatever you want it to be, that's fine. But this just looks like something from like the 80s or the 90s that had very little effort put into it. Obviously, you got the picture of the Robinson brothers, which is to be expected. And then you have the Black Crowes logo kind of on a curve there, which is very cool. But I feel like this thing was really, really thrown together. I'm not saying you should be using an AI album cover or anything like that, but maybe put a little bit more effort into their album covers. It could have been better on the album cover front. I'm not going to keep harping on about that. What matters the most is the music. I think these two new songs, Profane Prophecy and Pharmacy Chronicles, a lot of P's happening in there, are very, very cool. I'm going to let them grow on me. Very much looking forward to this new record. Definitely going to review it here on the channel. So again, the new 10th studio album from the Black Crowes, Pound of Feathers, comes out on March the 13th, and we're very much looking forward to it here on the channel.